Marvellous. Evening everyone, welcome to Planning and Licensing this now sunny evening on the 5th of August. Duncan, have we any apologies, please?
We have apologies from Councillors Brooke, Morris, Adlam and North this evening.
Wonderful, thank you. Any declarable interests now? No? Yes? Joanna?
Just asking a question, because of the Killer Court application, what's our role and interest on that?
I don't know what's...
We would just look at it as if it were a normal one. Nobody here is going to make any financial benefit from it, and well, we ought to have a say on it. So
yeah, brilliant, thank you. If something pops up as we go along, then please say. Now we have some minutes. We have no minutes, have we? From
no, I do apologise. I've got the Tuesday sometimes catches me out a little bit. I've sort of got a day less, so I'll make sure that they're ready for the next meeting. If that's okay.
So no matters arising. Oh no. Right, open session for electors. Now we have Mr. Stuart Price up in the gallery, who is here for application 3. That's right, isn't it, Duncan? Application 3. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So what I suggest then is that we move that up the agenda. I'm proposing that. Second. All in favour? Wonderful. Thank you. So, Mr. Price, would you like to speak about application 3, which is PA 25/05026, the watermark at Lusty Glaze on the Glendorgal site, self-catering accommodation, isn't it? It's altering the code. Yep. Okay, Mr. Price, is light on? Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. If I could have the first page, please, Duncan. Am I? I always am, I'm afraid. It's gone, is it? Okay. They are a little bit different. Oh, the time's up, is it? Okay. The red hat shows the new building works. 90% of the extension is on the ground floor, where it's not really visible in the wider landscape. The little bit on the first floor is just for the lift tower getting access to the first floor bedroom. Next one, please. These are the elevations. The flat roof form is quite subtle in the context. What we have done is replaced the existing dormer window with a bay window at first floor, and we've put a pyramid pitched roof on top of that. That's borrowed from the context to the building, from the buildings on the right, and it just makes a little bit more of a feature of that corner and articulates the end of the development. Next one, please, Duncan. These are massing images of the proposal. This is from the north, from the south, looking north out towards the sea. You can just see the little bit pyramid roof on the end. Next one, please, Duncan. The kind of view looking from Porth Beach. The bottom image, the modelling program we use is great for modelling, but it doesn't offer photoreal images. But they have just incorporated an AI CGI program to it, which is the bottom image. It's gone a little bit rogue because it's put in windows where there aren't windows, but it shows the material palette and the recessive nature of the materials and how it sits into the wider context of the slate roofs. Next one, please, Duncan. An image from looking back towards Porth, and just how we're repeating the staggered pattern of development, and just with that little subtle feature of the pyramid roof at the end. And then I think the next images are just of the evolving built environment in Porth. And if everyone's not familiar with them, and the next one, please, and the next one. And that's what's happening at the Glendorgal. And then the last image is just a picture of the familiar image of a Victorian beachside pavilion. And it's that kind of roof form that we wanted to add to that corner. And a bit of a gesture towards the historic cottage at the Glendorgal and its sort of Victorian sort of heritage. And that's all. Thank you.
I've got a couple of questions just before, and then Joanna. The pyramid roof, is that going to be taller than the current roof line? So nothing no, really impactful. The other thing, I am disappointed about the drainage that you've got from your property, because that, as you say, that is quite a large corner site. There is an aspect to it which could be taken away, that you could put a soak away into, rather than it going to the drains. I mean, just because we've had it in the drains, times have moved on. South West Water do expect to be new developments to take drainage on the property. I know you're near the cliff, but that is actually a distance from the cliff edge. I think so. I mean, we've got all our, it's all coming in through contributing to the flooding at the sewage works. So anything that can come in. Yeah, but the way, I mean, having looked at it on the satellite image, that's what I was looking at. The corner site, so the southern aspect of that corner site is actually away from the edge, where it drops away from the slope. So, I mean, this area here. And then you've got the vegetation that it could drain into. I mean, if it can go in this area.
Sorry, I'm getting really hot under the collar, anyways.
Okay, Joanna. Sorry, I'll let you just. I was just going to ask. I was just asking a question as to.
You're asking questions. We're redesigning it. I'm horrified that you're suggesting that. I think it's something that you have to talk to with the planning officer, but it is such a sensitive area. We really do not need to put soakaways on the edge of the cliff. It's really unwise. Sarah, I'm not going to argue with you because we can disagree on it, but I would not be wanting this town council to respond that we think you should have a soakaway as opposed to going into the local drains. I just really would be very, very concerned if you do that. Can I just ask questions anyway? There's no connection between this and what the works they're planning on the Glendorgal. These are all holiday apartments at the moment. Have you any ideas of changing it to residential or just no? Good. And are they managed individually as individual buildings? So someone's got them.
You should change them to freehold. They're all individual.
I've never seen a number of comments that you've got on here. Everybody's saying it's absolutely great. So,
The client is very community-minded. She spends a lot of time on that beach. I think she's been engaging.
I think that's about it.
Is there going to be like a small internal lift because it's for wheelchair access to make it accessible upstairs? Yeah, one of those little platform ones that goes. I presume it'd be a small scale.
It forward to look at it now, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's what, sorry.
Yes. I'm supposed to move it forward. So all in favour of moving it forward? Yes. Right. Thank you, Duncan.
Right. Right. I may refer back to Stuart's presentation. It's got some really useful images in it. We'll see how we go anyway. So so the promontory between Lusty Glades and Porth Beach accommodates the Glendorgal Hotel and a number of self-catering holiday units. We can see number 7 right on the end here. I managed to get a street view of it from Lusty Glades Road. So looking at it sort of kind of from the sort of like kind of looking out to sea direction, and that's it there again. I think we've already seen that porthole window. As Joanna pointed out, 15 public comments all in support. I think that's unprecedented. Site allocations, I think, have responded, commenting that they aren't going to comment. The Coastal Protection Authority have been consulted and are yet to respond, and obviously their responses, given the location, is going to be quite important. And just to give a brief wider context, back in November last year, this committee finally agreed to raise no objection to a rather grand scheme that involved part demolition of the Glendorgal Hotel, creation of a number of holiday restrictive dwellings, and conservation measures being applied to the Barrow there. But this is, although proximity-wise it's very close, this is quite separate from that. Okay, so to start with, we will look at the location plan, just to show the Watermark Apartments sitting sort of kind of southeast of the the Glendorgle site. You've got most of them along here, and number 7 is sort of to the east of the hotel. The DNA statement tells us that the applicant is in the process of purchasing the property and wishes to modernise the accommodation. Specifically, the applicant wishes to make the property fully wheelchair accessible. I'm going to start off with the floor plans.
Can I just ask a question on this? I should have asked Stuart, how close is it to the coastal strip? How many metres?
It's still, there is the edge of the coast, so the body, because you have this slope, this is like the lawn grass area that's outlined in red. Then you have this coastal vegetative slope. Then you have, that is the edge of the cliff there. So in terms of metres, that's quite a distance actually. Duncan, I don't know if you want to measure.
We can have a look at that in a perhaps. I mean, it's not so much its proximity to the coast, is it? It's really we're interested in the various erosion lines and the buffer zone and our policy around that as well. So perhaps we'll come on to that sort of at the end, if that's okay. If we just have a look at the, I just wanted to sort of get an understanding of the proposal to start with. So in terms of, sorry, just let me move that out of the way a bit. In terms of the floor plans, so you'll see there's a reasonable increase in the footprint of the building. That's your existing, that's your proposed. And hopefully you can see from that we've gone from just really sort of kind of bedrooms and utility spaces downstairs to quite an open plan, sort of accessible layout of the main habitable rooms, kitchen, living room, entrance hall, and there is a bedroom still downstairs as well. Looking at the first floor plans, some of these match up better than others. So we've got so this one has got, this existing has got 2 plans on. So if you just pay attention at the moment to the one on the left, which is the existing first floor plan, and this is the proposed. So really, you've got a master bedroom and dressing room at the first floor level, and it also benefits from this sort of wraparound outdoor terrace, and although it's larger than the existing first floor footprint, this proposed footprint is smaller than the proposed ground floor footprint, and that's where you get the sort of single story aspect to it, if you like. In terms of the elevations, I'm sort of kind of struggling to sorry, just let me get rid of that. I'm struggling to compare them because they were a little bit different. So what I did was I just took the north elevation. I hope you don't mind, Stuart. I just took the existing and proposed north elevation. The reason being that on the documents, the north elevation has also got its neighbours on as well. So I felt if I just sort of kind of cut and paste, you'd get a good idea of the extent. Just looking at the individual unit on its own, you get a good idea of the extent of the increase to it. Okay. So you can see you've got the first, the single-storey section and the terrace on the first floor there. Okay. We will look at the existing and proposed, but I just thought that was useful just to sort of aid our understanding of the increase in size. So that's the existing that we've just looked at, that top left. The proposed puts it sort of kind of puts it with its neighbour, which I was sort of kind of slightly concerned it would make it look as if it was getting a lot bigger. But you can see there it is, it's almost like a street view, if you like. The western elevation, we've seen the 3D computer image of that. Let's just go back. I thought that was quite a useful image, just to, having been a row of uniform buildings, you can kind of sort of appreciate the change, the addition of the pitch roof and the single-storey extension upon which the terrace sits as well. When we looked at the Glendorgal applications, I did sort of bring out an extract of Cornwall Council's strategic flood risk assessment map, and I thought, well, we may as well have a quick look at that again today. If it will open reasonably quickly. There we go. So you can see number 7 just in this corner here. This is the one that we used when we looked at the Glendorgal last November, but I'm not certain if there hasn't been a change to this.
It's been updated.
Yeah, and I can actually quite. If you're happy, I'll bring.
I don't think Cornwall Council finished updating their NCERN maps yet.
You don't think they have?
No, that's the problem though. They're getting round to it.
Right, because these the various zones, they're not labelled as nicely as they are on the on this map, and I was struggling a little bit to understand what they were, because the buffer zone appears to come sort of like really through the property. I'll show you what I mean quickly, and you can see if that's any use to you or not. Hopefully you can see number 7 reasonably clearly there. I'll just bring that back, and I'm just going to put so we've got 2 layers here. One is the 2018 coastal erosion planning constraints, which is the document I just showed you a minute ago. But then there's a coastal erosion planning constraints 2025. Which, as you can see, comes forward a lot further and actually sort of engulfs this. But I must admit, I'm struggling a little bit with the labelling of this.
Where does the second one come from?
This is it's been added to the strategic flood risk assessment, Cornwall Council's interactive map.
Well, I'm not sure if that.
See, as opposed to that one, of which there was a healthy distance.
Yeah, so I've got to say I prefer that one, because that one's got its buffer zone, and then it's got backshore. But if you do the 2025 one, it's got the backshore and the other way round. It doesn't make sense. You see?
No, I was struggling with it as well.
So the backshore is this light colour brown, which is then the buffer zone.
In terms of applying our policy with the exclusion zone, etc.
It's not residential. This is what makes it different.
What?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Joanna.
I confess that I found the latest stuff completely incomprehensible. So
Yeah.
there is quite an interesting study provided by the applicant.
Yes, I'm just reading that.
Yeah, and on page on page, oh gosh, I've lost it. A frightening yellow line. Yeah, page 7.
Is that the geoslope stability?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's saying that the yellow line is the 100-year.
Yeah.
Because like you, I thought this is well away from the cliff edge, but
Well, it is. I mean, I've measured it on Google Earth, and the corner of the property to the nearest bit of the cliff. So the corner of the property here to the top of the cliff, the nearest point is 24.5 metres, which is actually quite a distance.
but if you look at that particular, I'm going to ask, if I may, ask Stuart and get a nod. Is that is that the 100-year yellow line? Is that the 100-year?
I believe it is, yeah. I think something is changing. But I think it's changed, yeah.
But I mean, the building already exists there, doesn't it? So, you know, really in 100 years, it's not like it's a flood zone, and sort of the cliff at the moment is very vegetated. If you go down to the image on page 10, this one, can you enlarge that at all, Duncan, please? I think that's quite a nice one actually, because you've got there's your distance of your flat lawn, which is like the edge of your property. This is quite a width of well vegetated top of the cliff, of a gentle slope. Then you have the drop away of the cliff. So it's 25 metres, 24.5 metres from that corner to the nearest bit of the top of the cliff. That's actually quite a distance. Joanna?
I think Duncan was probably right that we need to get a report back from the cliff protection people. I'm quite startled that it's as big as it is. I think it makes a difference that it's not residential. I think if it was residential, we'd just say it's within the 100-year line that we use in our policy. But because it's a holiday, does it really matter if it's going to fall off the cliff? That's I think, possibly a difference. Because I would like to approve this, but I am concerned about how close it is to the edge of the cliff and what the predictions are saying. Because when you go to Watergate, of course, the predictions have all been fulfilled and more, but that was because they interfered with the cliffs, not the sort of natural order of things.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it is a hard one. I mean, there's a big difference between the geology between here. It's similar geology, but it's not the same geology, and the cliff height is different, and you've got undercutting there. This is it's a much smaller, more stable cliff. But it's going to come down to, I think, as you say, consultants from the coastal. Cornwall Council.
We can only apply our policy, and our policy is a bit of a blunderbuss on. But that's all we can. Duncan?
Does the fact that there's a precedent set with the Glendorgal have any bearing on how you think about this? Because that application has been approved.
It has been approved, hasn't it? Can you just go down to page 11? And there's a photograph there of the beach, and you can see then the difference in the cliff. You've got a person there for scale. Oh no, you don't have a person for scale. Sorry, I thought it was a person. It's actually rock. So and the geology here is like sideways on, as opposed to headways on, which is what you've got at Whipsey. That's why it's got a steeper cliff. So the Porth. The inlet of Porth is running parallel or right angles to the strike of the geology, as opposed to it being head-on vertical. That's why you've got the height difference in the cliffs, if you see what I mean. And it is very stable at the top. It is very well vegetated. It's got a change in angle. So you've got your cliff. Then you have this vegetated lower angle on top, which of course you don't have at Whipsey. But it depends on the distance that they call the edge of the coast, and that is quite subjective, but we need greater technical definition as to what they're going to count as the edge.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah, go on for it, Francis, yeah.
Related to that area of discussion. Other properties along that.
As Duncan's already said, the Glendorgal Hotel development has already had the go-ahead,
Yeah.
which is adjacent to it. Have we got the satellite image there?
Because that came to
Duncan.
you a couple of months ago.
And as we've already got that as a business.
Yeah.
So
So that's being.
this has been given the go-ahead, and you can see that this is actually a really small distance then to the top of the cliff, where there is active erosion, because you've got the inlet and you've got, as it says in this report, there's no linear structures, which means that there's no faults or anything going underneath this section here, where there is clearly that.
I think, not the whole, or maybe just the extension is in the exclusion zone, then we are duty bound to object. But I don't actually understand whether it is in the exclusion zone or not.
Can we go back to an image of where it shows the increase in the area of the building? Please, Duncan. Because I'm wondering how much is that?
Existing footprint.
That's the existing footprint. It is. It's a lot bigger, isn't it? I mean, the terrace can, I presume, can be made permeable.
Do we have any expert reports in on it? Like,
I mean, they've got their expert geoslope, but I mean, of course, that's been employed by them. So we haven't. So, I mean, it's what do we? It's still at the moment the exclusion zone is 10 metres, isn't it? At the moment, and it's going to be going up to 15, isn't it?
It's a buffer. They take the 100-year line and then they add a buffer of 10 metres. Now, we didn't write that. This is written by the Coast Protection. When they did their coastal change document, they took that and they didn't forbid development in that particular line.
Right.
But when it's a coastal change management area, it refers back to our studies, and our study, I mean, we didn't make this up. So I think we really have to hear from the, because it does, I mean, from their own report, it looks like it's breaching this policy. And we can't pick and choose, because if we start saying, we think this one is okay, and then somebody else comes along and says, you passed that, so you can pass it as well.
But we are picking and choosing, aren't we? I mean, when you pointed out that inlet and the Glendorgles, and that's been passed.
Yeah.
But this one, we're saying.
But also we got how things change with time as well. So the buffer could have easily changed since the Glendorgle has come in from that. So that's why we're always chasing catch up. So, you know, when people say, oh, the precedent's been set X years before, but, you know, the plans change and guidelines change.
It changed in about November, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very recently, but that's it. I'm
worried about that yellow line that appears to be saying it's behind, in their own document, appears to be saying it's behind the increase in footprint. Which is a shame, because I actually like this development.
Yeah. Well, do we go no objection pending that and throw it back at the Cornwall Council officers, because they've got to pick up on that, haven't they? If we highlight it, then it's
there. We have to object. I think if we do a narrative where you basically say we have no problem with the development, because we don't, but it appears to breach our policy, and we would appreciate a comment from the Coastal Protection Group.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a really
in light
difficult one. I mean, I totally agree with you. I think it's
in light of current things, because I mean, you know, this property here is, you know, from the Glengarry is obviously much closer than this is here, even with the extension.
Yeah.
So it's going to be down to time and which boundary they're going to go to as that buffer zone boundary, I think, Duncan. We don't have a problem with it. But I'm still wondering if I mean, if the planning officer then comes back and goes, then we can always respond then under a 5-day protocol. I mean, I imagine they'll throw it back at us.
I don't think we can come to a decision on this, because it looks, we don't want to turn it down, but it looks like it's breaching our policy. We don't understand the diagrams, I think.
Duncan.
Well, I mean, we have been in similar situations before where we have worded an objection in the most encouraging, positive way possible, but having concern, you know, almost as if, you know, we are objecting, but we'd be very happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
we have that in our armoury.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just struggling to understand. I mean, maybe this is a training issue, but I'm struggling to understand what this is compared to what this is, because one would seem to probably benefit the development, and one would seem to suggest that not a snowball's chance. So.
And the development of the Glendorgle Hotel site is clearly within their buffer zone from the 2008 one. So I suspect they'll say it's okay, and we'll shrug our shoulders and go okay then.
I think we have to start
okay. And I'm happy with the discussion. Yes.
It's a really difficult one.
Yeah, it's not easy. So I propose an objection in terms of unclear construction of extension of the building based on the clarification.
I mean, it's interpreting policy CC2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we welcome the development of of the building to be updated and to be fully accessible, and that the design itself is in keeping, nodding to traditional Victorian architecture, and that there's absolutely no problems with that or anything. If the terrace can be permeable, that would be great. See, so seconder, Sandy, all in favour, yeah. So, okay, yeah. It's going to depend on maps and distance and accuracy of those boundaries, I think. But as Duncan said, the Glendorgle's already set a precedent there, and it was designed well within that buffer zone from 2018. So
Yes.
So even though the 2020, the one that they did for last year comes over there, you've got that precedent for the Glendorgles.
But then you could say the same thing about the development at Whipsterderry, where they have permission. If they actually do build those houses, certain others, but they've got permission to do it.
But that shouldn't have been given in the first place, though.
Well, that was because it was in 2007, where the rules were completely different.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. Okay, Mr. Price.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good luck. It's going to be nice.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, hang on, let's get back to agenda. Yeah.
Who do you think could give us a little bit of insight into the changes that have been made to this in Cornwall Council? Who could I talk to?
I've got them somewhere. I'll dig them out and send them.
Thank you.
So it will be the people. Funny enough, it's John Sharp, although he's not on the clip protection people anymore. And I've forgotten what the name of the other guy is. And Reese something or else. But I can send you the just to make sure.
Oh, I've heard of Reese. Oh, we've seen Reese before, I think, and stood.
He's number 2.
Yeah.
Who came to Stonewall.
Right. I propose that we get back to the agenda items. Seconded. All in favour? Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay. Active consultations. 7I. Street trading review. Come.
Yeah, it sort of kind of sits, could sit in licensing, could sit in consultations, but we are being consulted on a Cornwall Council policy document. Has everybody got one of these?
Yeah.
What was one of those?
No. Yeah. You can handle them out.
Need to summarise the changes.
Yeah. Well, you said that might be a useful idea.
Yeah.
And it is. So I carefully went through it. As a former licensing officer who I was working for Cornwall Council as a licensing officer when the policy came in 2016, I think it was, and it is reviewed. I think it's reviewed about it's been 3 to 5 yearly. I went through this and I thought that there was some really positive stuff. Some of it is just informative. There's a little bit more information about some of the legal exemptions. One that I wasn't aware of, in fact, which is to do with peddlers who are trading food. Really, they've sort of a lot of this has provided greater detail around some of the. They've got policy exemptions and legal exemptions, so there's some clarity where perhaps there was a little bit of a grey area. It's interesting that trading in residential areas now has additional restrictions when they're in the vicinity of schools and colleges. I think that you can't be within 400 metres, which is probably a positive one. I thought that probably the the most. I mean, waste management has changed a lot with this. You know, in because of Cornwall Council's low carbon initiatives. But I thought that one of the most positive things was the requirement for a DBS check.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I thought,
It's
I
quite
mean, this is
interesting,
something
isn't it?
Cornwall Council, carries out very regularly with its, the taxi drivers. It's quite a straightforward process for people to go
Yeah.
through. But I
Yeah.
thought that was actually really quite a positive change that they were making. I couldn't see any issues with this in terms of what's been added.
Like-
It all seemed really positive.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's great to hear. I guess the question I've got is, we recently experienced, very in a close proximity to where I'm sat, somebody who decided that any trading rules and regulations didn't relate to them exactly. And I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I do understand that we, as Newquay Council and maybe Cornwall Council, had to go through quite a protracted process to remove said trader. Will any of these changes make our ability to act quicker to protect law-abiding businesses and traders any better? Is that a question?
Short answer, probably. Do you want to turn I think both your microphones on. Is yours microphone, Jill?
Oh, yours is one.
The short answer is no.
No, the short answer is no.
There's really, they get licensing compliance, put together a case and prosecute people. The fact that what happened with our with the feral trader was really a lot to do. The final action, take his van away, was a lot to do with stuff that's other areas of legislation. But the threat I think that hangs over people is that they are likely to be prosecuted, but that's not a swift course of action. But that's really the only course of action that they've got. Removal would, there's all sorts of different locations that people could be in, private land, on the public highway, all sorts of different places, and they've probably all got their own, their own sort of quirks as to how you would be able to remove or not remove somebody. But ultimately, the threat that this policy has is prosecution, and in the main, it does tend to keep most people on the straight and narrow, because it's not a hugely expensive. The street trading consent is not a hugely expensive operation, and it does largely ensure that that trading vehicles don't look too shabby.
In the policy that talks about someone not obeying the rules?
No.
Surely there should be.
There's certainly no changes around that.
A lot
And I
of the
don't think
delay
that
on
they
that
could
was
be.
the
I think
courts,
that-
actually. They couldn't get it through the courts because of the huge time issues and stuff with the courts. I know there was that was one of the main issues.
I would have thought, I agree with Francis here, you should be saying something like failure to obtain a street trading licence means
Will result in.
will result in, you have to get one of these. I'm not sure,
Return that as we can certainly return that as a.
These developments. I think these developments, from the sounds of it, Duncan, and your history suggests that you're experts in this. But it sounds good, and the fact. Yeah, I agree. To show that we've thought about it. The fact that my children can sell pop from our driveway, I'm delighted about, for their pocket money. But yeah, I think just feeding back to say, we would hope that Cornwall Council would enforce any breaches as swiftly as they are able to do so.
well, there isn't, it doesn't say You have to get a street trading licence, or does it?
You might well do.
I mean, turn it off a minute. The feral man, of course, has back with his trolley back down by, just down the road with an associate selling ice lollies, I think, last week or the week before. It didn't seem to put him off in any way. So, and has it got anything about that if you have abused the licensing system, that then you cannot apply for a license within 2 or 3 years or something like that? So I think that could be worth commenting in as well, that, or if it's 2 strikes and then out, or there needs to be some sort of restriction if you've proved to taken the biscuit, the Bourbon biscuit, then trying to.
That one, it doesn't seem to be anything in the document saying if you wish to trade, you should have a street trading licence. It just doesn't seem to say that. So everybody just takes it for granted. From the experience of the sort of what's happening at Esplanade Road, what causes a lot of confusion is that they keep referring to the EU thingy. And it's been a long time since Brexit. And is that an adopted policy?
So that became enshrined in British law. And I was having a conversation with the licensing manager.
As an EU directive or as a British law directive?
I think it was one of the things that we then took on. It hasn't gone, and I think it was one of those that we sort of automatically adopted, and maybe they haven't got round to looking at and changing, with all the priorities.
It's adopted. That
yes, it's
a lot of confusion. And in Pentar, where you've got, well, so far we've got 3 traders on the street, and the resident association had no powers to limit it because you're not allowed to. You cannot, and it says it very clearly.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to have 10, what it doesn't have in the conditions is what they do is that they have a friend or they have their own car and they book the prime spot every night. So they disappear at a certain time and their private car comes in and takes a space, which is why they're always in the same place. Now I think that is against the what street traders should do, but apparently that's perfectly legal.
Does it define trade? Because we had the Jehovah's Witnesses with the Black Tower magazine outside, down on the slope outside the Newquay office. So, and of course that is
that free?
We see, this is it. I don't know. It's trading information, isn't it? What is trade?
Well, there's a distribution in Newquay. There's a distribution of free printed material. I'm not certain that. I'd have to check, but I'm not certain that. I have a feeling that there's an exemption around religious stuff anyway.
The big issue is an exemption.
Yeah.
News vendors selling periodicals, e.g., big issue.
But what about religious groups?
Well, doesn't matter. Surely they're.
Well, they're going to be selling it, or are they going to be giving it away?
Well,
because if it's being given away, then it comes under a different policy area, distribution of free printed material. And I'd have to double check on that. I have a feeling that there might be an exemption for religious groups.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think you're correct though that the saving spaces. I don't think that you can sort of go and put a load of boxes in a car parking space to save a space, but you can't stop somebody parking there for you and then moving when you arrive to trade in the morning. That's a loophole that I don't think anybody would be able to close.
Do they have a saturation rate?
No, they don't. And in
terms of the
in many
capacity.
ways, I mean, you don't have. It's a free market. You don't have on the high street. If I open a cafe and somebody opens a cafe to the left of me and to the right of me, there's nothing to stop them doing that. It's
So if all of that parking area at South Fishtraw was a whole row of street traders, then that would be okay.
But they wouldn't be, they're very unlikely to be making any money. And I think that the idea is that the market will sort of, I think that the thinking behind it is that the market will level itself out. If there's too much competition, then it's no, nobody's going to make any money out of it, and they will go elsewhere.
Okay. Anyone else got any comments they'd like to add to that? So, I mean, thank you, Duncan, for that, really comprehensive sort of summary review.
I mean, we're concerned. I mean, you've raised two things there about is there any rule around people who've abused the consent and getting one in the future?
Yeah.
And I mean, Joanna said maybe some stronger wording on non-compliance. I felt one thing that I felt it could have benefited from would be, well, not having this at the beginning, because this is Cornwall Council trying to draw in an income by getting you not to fill out the application form yourself, but by paying a licensing officer to do it. And I thought that would perhaps be appropriate to stick at the other end of the document rather than right at the front.
At the beginning. Yeah.
And I thought that I did think that this first paragraph that you get doesn't really explain the need for it. When I went out and spoke to Ferrell, I was saying there is a reason for this. This isn't some deep state plot against you, which is what he was suggesting to me that it was. It's the idea is that we keep street traders and the general public safe. And one of the big things around that is it's kind of safe in terms of not causing obstruction or sort of increasing the likelihood of vehicular accidents. And it could, it does mention public safety, but I mean, it starts off talking about the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982. That would just turn most people off immediately, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, regulation of street trading. Surely we should have an opening sentence like street trading is required by law. A license for street trading is required by law unless certain exemptions apply. And they just say street trading is regulated under 7.2 of the Local Miscellaneous Provision Act. There's nothing there that says you've got to get one.
No, that's very sort of council talk, isn't it, really? And and I think if people understand why they need one, they might be more inclined to get one. Having said that, I mean, we don't have a massive problem in town, thankfully.
No, and I think as well, I presume they need to have a licence to be covered by their insurance policy for third party.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of the many checks that is done, is that your vehicles have to be legal. You have to have a significant level of public liability insurance. You're not using materials that are going to cause a small explosion in the middle of town, kind of stuff.
That's the other way round, but they need the licence to trade to make sure that their insurance is valid. I mean, they would do, because if insurance company, if you sort of like had issue with food poisoning or stuff, and you claimed on your insurance for whatever reason, or people claimed against you, if you were then trading without a license, they won't pay out. You'd be bankrupted. So, you do need a license to protect themselves as well, to make sure that their insurance is valid, I presume, and covering.
It seems sensible, doesn't it? I'm just not sure that it actually is.
I'm just thinking of Mr. Farrell. Okay,
I mean, do you want me to return any comments? That's the,
Yes, so if you could turn that sort of, welcome that it's being updated. Maybe the introduction needs to be better worded, and the validity needs to come first rather than definition. Yeah, and as you say, sort of financial matters. Yeah. That would be brilliant. Thank you, Duncan.
And some stronger wording on non-compliance.
Yeah.
wording on that.
Well, I mean, there is a little, but it's not. It's the licensing authority will share info with other agencies in relation to compliance and risk, and will seek to work with the police, and town council, parishes. It is providing better information around reporting to Cornwall Council, but yeah, maybe it could be more threatening.
So I'm proposing that. Seconder? Seconder, all in favour of that? Wonderful, thank you.
Duncan, you just send a document and email it to us.
Yeah,
I've got 10
okay.
days. I'll draft
Yeah.
something and email it to you if you want. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Duncan. Awesome. Right. 8. Licensing applications. So the first one is 8I LA03 grant, Mother Surf on the Killer Court. They came along to. Oh, what did they come along to? Was it P&L before and made a presentation? I don't think it was P&L though, was it? Who did they come to?
GNR?
GNR? Was it? No.
Which one? I suppose one of them. Whichever.
But he came along and he presented about a license. Was it an ENF that I happened to be there? Oh.
Yeah, no, this is a matter of a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
I thought it was GNR. I mean, I was there.
Were you? Was that one? Well, okay. Was it
I
GNR?
should really been paying more attention as to what the meeting was.
They're not selling anything else, or is it booze to go with food?
Well, you see, this is it. They're applying as well for an off licence as well.
Yeah. So, well, let's get down to the nitty gritty of the application.
I'm concerned as to really how it's going to change in the future myself.
Right. Well, first of all, I would reassure you that as the landlord of this premises, of this building, if we had any problems whatsoever, ultimately we can say you're not doing that anymore, and your premises license is it doesn't trump the fact that we're the landlord, and that if we weren't happy with what was happening and we just said this has to stop now, it would have to stop now. As the landlord, you hold that sort of trump card. As you can see, this is the area to be licensed. And I do have a small side project, which is to vary our license for the Killer Court, because as a result of this application coming in, it sort of came to our attention that the Killer Court license does not reflect what's on the Killer Court now. These units, the bandstand, all of that stuff. We've licensed we've got a license that says that we've got a green field, and we need to update it. And so I will be doing a minor variation with help of some of the other office staff sometime very soon. And that the red line for licensable activities in the premises boundary will not include the cafe. So that will be quite separate.
The red line doesn't include the cafe.
Yeah, no, the cafe will have its own red line. Yeah, because you can't really have them sort of kind of crossing over each other. In terms of the operating schedule, Mother Surf is now opening 7, closing at 10 at night, and they are looking for the retail supply of alcohol on and off sales, and it's 10:30 till in the morning till 9:30 at night. So they've got 30 minutes drinking up time, and in terms of the Annex 2 conditions, it's got all the wording that you'd expect from a well put together application.
can I just say something on it? I noted that that they wanted to play background music, yet they haven't actually ticked those boxes on.
That's not a licensable activity. So, think of recorded music in terms of maybe you're having a DJ in, and that's going to attract people. If you're playing background music, I've got my CD on, I've got Radio 2 on, that's not the reason people are coming to the premises. That is considered incidental.
PRS, whatever it is.
Yeah, you need all of that, of course. But you don't go to an Indian restaurant because they're playing Bhangra music. You go for the lovely food. It's so it becomes incidental. It's the same with fates and all sorts of stuff like that. If the music is not the reason that you're going there, it's incidental and isn't a licensable activity.
Okay, I didn't. Right. Okay. Thank you for clarifying on that one.
Bearing in mind, they're quite close to. I always forget its name. Penmeryn Court, is it? The sort of Penhaven Court. The red line looks to be relatively near, and they're also closing at 9:30, so that shouldn't be too disruptive. But what will happen, of course, is they will sell, if they're going to be an off licence, they will sell, somebody will pick it up and go and find a nice bench on the killer court.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Well, they can do that for other places.
So, off sales will be in sealed containers, and I mean they are a food and they are a food and kind of food and hot and cold drinks seller. I don't think.
Are they selling food as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The food is. You need to pop down there because it's very good. I think that Sam Norman explained, I think it was the GNR meeting, he explained that you'll get a party of 5 people on holiday and they'll be looking for somewhere to sit down and have a bite to eat, and one of them will fancy a bottle of beer with their meal, and because he can't do that, he is, he's losing the custom of those all 5 people. He has done a number of temporary event notices that have all been quite successful, and he has been working closely with Sue Edwards, the civilian police licensing officer, and I think that's why the conditions are quite tidy on it. I don't think he's come up with that himself. I think that it's in collaboration with them.
If I'm right, this is the guy who was here a few weeks ago, isn't it? Yes, and he was talking about off-licence selling stuff then, but he made it very clear that it wasn't people coming in to buy half a dozen bottles of beer and going off with it. They were like souvenir, holiday type things that he wanted to sell, like a lot of the stores do. I mean, that's the way he was explaining it and putting it.
Oh,
It wasn't somewhere where you pop down and buy a crate of half a dozen Stellas and go off and drink.
It is business though, isn't it? He's not going to differentiate between that. I mean, off sales is off sales. It's sort of like, from what he says at the committee, could be totally different on practice and it's still off sales.
I don't think bargain buys are going to be worried.
Back, though. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a review process if things did go really wrong, but as a landlord, we're in quite a strong position anyway. So,
I kind of think that it's not Sailors or Bertie's. It's a very chilled out little small cafe, and I think the history of some of the places on the Killer Court, we need to, within reason, obviously, do things that will support these businesses, because they are our tenants and they are a great advocate for Newquay. I was on the Killer Court on Saturday when it was the Breast Fest and the bands, and it was brilliant, utterly brilliant. And then a week or two before, when there was the food festival and stuff, when that guy came in, it was it made you proud to be part of that. And because those that cafe and those other properties are occupied and hopefully thriving businesses, it says a positive thing about our town. And I think if we can make decision. You know, if they start selling 20 cans of Stella, then I don't think that's cool. But if they want to sell like a little gift pack to say, oh, that's for Uncle Jim's birthday next weekend, great. Yeah.
That the cafes on Killicock is such a wonderful position, have never flourished. So I'm going to suggest we make no representation.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Wish them well.
Second for Joanna? Yeah, Joanna, all in favour of no representation? Yeah, that's fine. Sahara City on 38 Cliff Road and their application form. The fish and chip shop on the corner.
Yeah. It's down in the,
Cod End. I love it how fish and chip shops have, you know, so many puns. It's like hairdressers. Jabba the Cut.
Remember how he anguished over a licence for the Colin?
I'm making a complete dog's dinner of it. Right, anyway. I do apologise. I seem to no longer be able to work a computer. In terms, or in fact, I don't really need to be sharing my screen at the moment. Everybody can look at you lot. Premises licence applications have a description of the premises. This one says the premises has been run as a restaurant and bar for many years. It's 3 stories, offices on the second floor, function room, seating area and bar on the first floor, and seating area and bar on the ground floor. There is also outside seating in a courtyard area to the front of the premises. There has been a premises licence with this business for a number of years, including whilst I, that's the applicant, operated it directly as the Mexican Cantina. The last premises licence lapsed after the tenant left. So it doesn't tell us anything about what activity is going to be carried out there. We don't know if it's going to be a restaurant or, you know, what. I assume it would be a restaurant, but we don't know from that description. In terms of the hours, they kind of chop and change a bit, but their terminal hour is on a Sunday would be 11:30, and on Fridays and Saturdays would be 1 o'clock in the morning. And the alcohol sales sort of reflect that, minus 30 minutes for drinking up time. They have applied for live music. Any live music is likely to be from local bands and singers, which is slightly unusual if it were to be a restaurant. Recorded music, they have also applied for as well, and late night refreshment. Obviously, as you know, hot food and drink, the sale of, becomes a licensable activity between the hours of 11 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock in the morning. Looking at this application, I mean, I don't see any problem with the operating schedule. I thought a more robust Challenge 25 wording in the Annex 2 conditions. I think it said something along the lines of there will be a Challenge 22 policy. There is a lovely paragraph that I think licensing and the police worked on several years ago that really kind of details everything that policy should be. So I would say that it ought to have that. Alcohol, they are asking for on and off sales. There's no condition around alcohol for off sales being in sealed containers. There really needs to be. This is within Newquay's cumulative impact zone. And I'm unfortunately, and I'm getting tired of hearing myself saying this, I'm not happy with the plans. I have had a conversation with the person who's taken over as team manager, and I think that there may possibly be a training issue, because we're repeatedly getting plans that don't meet the...
That's not a premises plan.
It is not, no.
It's a site plan.
And if it would load on my computer, that would be lovely, but it doesn't seem to want to. I don't know why.
So I think we have to make a...
So, yeah, I mean, basically, we have been given an architectural plan.
Yeah.
There's a list of regulations in the Licensing Act. You have to show the boundary of the premises, you have to show where the licensable activities are, fixed structures, fire exits, all sorts of things, and this ticks none of those boxes whatsoever. And on that basis alone, I would be saying to you, you need to object to this, because they shouldn't be accepting the applications and putting them out for consultation. And this is just happening again and again and again. But I think somebody is now listening to me whining away about it. So
Yeah, so sorry, yes, I thought it was next to Codden. It's not, it's the old Mexican. I mean, can I just point out the irony of being called Sahara City and it's applying for a licence? Anyway. Yes, that's what I mean. Yes, so I think just on all those grounds that Duncan's just said, so I think we'll go for representation and get clarity.
Have we heard anything from the police on this one?
No.
no, I haven't heard back actually yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're usually very hot on, certainly on the Challenge 25. And
Yeah.
perhaps they wouldn't be looking at things like the plans quite as closely, but they would certainly be very hot on some
Yeah.
of this.
So hopefully it's the sort of thing gets...
I'd like to think that it could be sorted out by a hearing by documentation, whereby
Yeah.
they provide some more information and everybody who's been consulted
That is-
goes, yeah,
yeah.
that's absolutely fine, and we don't have to have a hearing.
Yeah.
That's really what should happen here.
I mean, it
so.
could be the 22 and it's just a typo. I think it could be a slack thing in terms of, the 25. But yeah, the plans are inadequate and so we need clarification, don't we, and better tidying up and to get some input from Sue.
So I would like to go back to them
Yeah.
with more robust Challenge 25 wording,
Yeah.
definitely off sales and
Containers.
sealed
Yeah.
containers, and they need to provide licensing plans, not
Yeah.
architectural
Yeah.
ones.
Seconder, Sandy, all in favour? Yeah. Mark.
Sorry?
I did.
Sarah did.
Thank you. Right, marvellous. Minor variation then on the Sailors' Arms, 4th Street.
Yeah, it's just a couple of decisions to be ratified. As you know,
Yeah.
we can't always, because of the short timescales, we can't always get these to the meeting in time, and there really is no wiggle room with Licensing Act deadlines. So the minor variation, which at the Sailors, which was to amend a condition, and it was basically they have a no under 18s, I think, quite strict no under 18s, but they are sometimes doing family events, and they've put a condition in with the agreed with the police before submission that would kind of sort of allow them to do that kind of thing. 4 of you came back to me agreeing that no representation was required. And as I say, the civilian licensing officer had agreed the wording with the applicant before the submission. So that's one decision to be ratified. And the other one is the Victoria, who benefited from the COVID legislation in that they were able to do off sales for a while. They decided that they would like to have that as a permanent thing on their license, and they put it forward as a minor variation, and they haven't provided any other conditions that would accompany it. And going back, I'm starting to sound like a broken record now. Alcohol off sales need to be in sealed containers. You can't go and buy alcohol across the road in the middle of a cumulative impact zone in Newquay and just walk off. I mean, they're very close to residential. Victoria's very close to residential. It needs to be in sealed containers, the idea being that you're buying something at the end of the evening and taking it home, not just wandering the streets with open mugs of beer, you know, whatever. So it was agreed, 5 of you came back and you all agreed that a representation is required, and the civilian police licensing officer, when I spoke to her, said, yeah, that's a problem as well. So those two just need to be ratified.
Thank you. I didn't have my recorder on for that.
And quick couple of licensing updates. Still waiting to hear back about the Proud Part, the Rum Sailor, and a hearing.
Right.
The team manager is having a look at that for us, because that's really dropped off the edge of a cliff, and it really shouldn't have done. And we're still waiting. Again, the team manager is on the case with this, to hear about a date for a second hearing for the Barrow Boys street trading, the ones who wanted to trade out there. So I can't update you other than to say that somebody is looking at that within Cork Council.
And we haven't heard anything about the food trading, or did that get through, the one down by the bus station?
Yes, no.
That went through.
Yeah, no,
that
Ignacio. The only objection was from BID.
Yeah.
BID didn't turn up to the hearing. I don't think that they had any. I don't think that their objection would carried any weight anyway. But no, they didn't. They weren't there, which didn't help.
Number 9 then, planning decisions and things that we've done.
You've got a couple of non-material amendments out there.
Yeah.
And I've received a couple more that are going to need our attention before the next meeting as well. So expect more of them, unfortunately. But the 1 5-day protocol was the NatWest Bank, which
The signage, wasn't it?
Yeah. And and 4 of you got back, and it was
Agree to disagree, I imagine.
Yeah. So it's just a matter, and that's
not ideal.
No,
it's not,
but
yeah. It was the signage for the large red sign for, I can't remember who. Next door to Boots.
Yeah.
And it's a 1960s building rather than one of the older ones.
Yeah.
It would be very. I mean, we've been here before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Whilst there's a shopfront design guide, it doesn't apparently seem to apply to some shops.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you agreed to disagree with the officer. So.
And another one. Have we got another one on that?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
no.
so
the others, I've got a couple that I'm almost ready to send off, and I'll send them off in a couple of days. We'll ratify them at the next meeting.
Okay, so due process carried out on that one. Seconder, all in favour? Yeah, the due process was done there. Thank you, brilliant. Right, 10 planning applications. Whoop. So we've already looked at number 3. Right, application 1. PA 2505133, certificate of lawful development for an existing site for flat 55A Penhallow Road. Duncan.
Right, just give me one moment.
when it's doing that. This is, they've put in, which is, we don't often see actually, but they have put in lots of evidence that it has been a residential flat at the bottom of their garden.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen a few recently, haven't we, where there's just been no evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this, I'll just increase the size of this.
2010.
For Gillian's education and benefit, I'll just explain about certificate of lawful use existing development. So such a certificate can be applied for when you've had an unauthorised development, so effectively no planning permission. Once a period of 4 years has passed without any enforcement action, you can apply for one of these certificates. It doesn't give you automatic planning permission, but it regularises the development and protects it from future enforcement. This is a fascinating one because the applicant states that the property in question has been used as a 2-bed single-storey property since 1979. The location plan there, you can see it's one of a row of garages.
A double garage.
Yeah, indeed. I've got a yeah. So 55A is actually on Penhallow Road. Is actually this little development called Morritt Court, which has an access road that goes round behind it, which has garages for the properties. If we just sneak over here slightly.
One of them's the nice little flat.
Yeah, and one of them has been turned into a. Can you just see there? That would once upon a time that would have been a garage. You just see it above the neighbour's wall there, and apparently people have been living in there since 1979. And I have actually said, well, an architect drew up plans to convert it and everything. The onus is on the applicant to provide a sufficient level of evidence. They have provided various different bills that are, some of which are older than 4 years, some of which aren't, but basically I would suggest that unless councillors in the room have knowledge that contradicts what the applicant has stated, i.e. they've been living in it since 1979, I would suggest returning a comment that says we were unaware of any evidence that would contradict the assertion made by the applicant, and we'd raise no objections subject to confirmation of the officer being happy with the evidence.
And I've delivered newspapers there for years, because they're on the
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I spoke to him.
Yeah, so but I mean, basically, if
So-
we say if the officer's happy
Yeah,
with the
we're
evidence,
happy.
then we're happy.
I mean, can we express a concern as to the size of that as a residential quality unit or not?
It won't have any bearing on anything.
No, it won't have any
but-
bearing. I think it you know, in terms of the encouragement of such a small living space, because I mean, you know,
Does it not meet standards?
I mean, I'd be surprised if that meets standards. If for being just for size and it's going to be a single shell thing, so the insulation and the environmental certificate that you're meant to have for rented accommodation is going to be.
There might be other areas where it would fall down, but in terms of this certificate, if all that you have to do to get this certificate, and it isn't planning permission, it isn't a sort of kind of golden ticket, but it's one thing that will prevent them being subject to enforcement action. We could certainly say there's concern over the what appears to be substandard accommodation. I could certainly return that.
And it's sort of like being a certificate of lawfulness. It's almost that we're giving it permission that that's okay.
Yes, well, it's the law, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the law.
yeah. But it's sort of, and of course, do we presume then that actually they could come along and say we're going to knock this down and build something on top of it as a dwelling?
It's going to be selling it or something like that.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
the reason they're doing it. They want to do something.
yeah.
There's nothing we can do about
No,
it apart from
no.
go. So I propose no
Just-
objection in whatever you said, Duncan.
Yeah, yeah. All in, yeah. Favour in that. But if I can just express a tad of a concern about the rabbit hutch. Right, okay. Application 2, page 25/05226, Treffy Centre, Key Hill, South Key Hill. Erection of fishermen stores and offices and harbour improvements with compliance with condition 3 in respect of decision notice dated the 19th
Right,
of June.
a nice, very straightforward application. Oh my goodness, what is going on there?
Which has got a comment on the front page of your little pack thing.
I don't have to declare an interest because it was my project to build these.
Oh,
I'm not going to make any money out of it.
okay.
Back in May 2012, this committee gave its support to proposals for the erection of fishermen's stores and offices and harbour improvements, and I've dug out the 2012. This is what they were doing, and these black buildings here were the proposed replacement fishermen's stores and offices. Condition 3 that they refer to in the description states that the office units hereby approved shall only be used in connection with activities ancillary to the fishing industry, unless otherwise agreed with the local planning authority. The application form states that due to changes in the way that people work with hybrid working, as well as the shift in the economy, the office industry is suffering a drop in demand. We've been marketing a vacant space in this office for over 12 months and haven't been able to secure a tenant that complies with condition 3. So a fishing related office. And we now have a second one that has come available and with little prospect of finding the tenants. Yeah, so basically they want to change the use class so that it comes under class E, which is commercial business and services. So it just widens the net for potential customers.
I never support this because the whole idea about this was to make money for the. We got an EU grant to make money for the harbour. It only doesn't matter if they're not fishermen or boatmen, or I think the sort of one of the jet skis also operates out there. So happy to propose.
Yeah, seconder. Francis was in there, like a whippet. All in favour? Yeah. Wonderful, thank you.
Number 3, we've done.
Done number 3. Number 4. PA 24/05241, former Hotel California. This was, oh yeah. Yeah, the roods. I presume it's not a holy rood.
40 poles make one rood.
No, that was a rod. That's a rod. Yes, it's a rod. It's when you had perches and rods. Yes. No, this is a rood, and we gather it's a typo for a roof. And the green roofs are. It's been corrected. It's now green roofs. That I'm looking at the moment. To the store and the bin store and the kayak stores. They're not going to do a green roof, which I actually find a bit disappointing. Seeing as they're putting green roofs on and sort of like, and I'm not quite sure why they couldn't.
So they do say in the application. So it's the reconfiguration of the substation and the bin store compound. National Grid have confirmed that a substation for the development isn't required. So they propose to move the bin stores into that space.
Yeah.
I think the bin stores are, well, we can have a look at the plan, but
They'll move around from
they've
the
got some, they've got some
side.
air source heat pumps.
Yeah.
Which was
I'd still
the-
like a green roof though on the bin store.
Yeah. Emission of green roofs to bin store and kayak stores is following advice from our roofing subcontractor, and they have advised to admit the above areas of green roofs.
Does that mean they're going to have no roofs or what?
No, they just want to put an ordinary felt roof on, I imagine.
What confused me was there's a kayak store which is down towards the river. Is that included in this?
I presume so.
Yes.
Yeah, that would
Yes,
be
it
the kayak,
is.
that'd be kayak store.
The answers I would object to that.
Yeah, I think
They don't actually get down as far as the kayak store.
Yeah, no, that's
And they haven't given a good reason. It would help blend into the landscape, especially the kayak store. And there's no reason why.
I mean,
A
closing the
bin.
substation isn't going to affect that kayak store at the
No.
bottom of the front.
No, I mean to put, you know, you put a layer on it, you box it in, you put like a membrane down, and you have a sedum roof. It's not, you have whole buildings with it. You know, the bus stops have got, outside the post office has a green roof. The one on Henver Road's got a green roof. Yes, and that's just because it's just going to save them, and it's only going to be a bit of money, really.
So the substation is on the front, isn't it?
Yeah, so
That's
Yeah.
why I wondered
And
whether
that's
they were
going.
including the kayak store, which has got no connection with the substation. I'm
No.
wondering if they've got a kayak store up there as well.
No.
So the right at the front of the property of the development, the refuse store was going to be the substation, and the one that says AHSP. I think that's supposed to be ASHP, air source heat pumps. They've just basically swapped the two around. The air source heat pumps can be in a smaller unit, and the refuse store is now a bit bigger. So that's that's
I
quite
don't have a
good.
problem with the street facing one. My problem is, do they mean to include the kayak store down the slope?
I think, well, personally, I have a problem with both of them. I think that things like that should have green roofs. It should be encouraged. It's contribution for their biodiversity increase. But please, anybody else want to chip in? Joanna?
On the roadside, they would be the only green sedum roof, because on the roadside that hasn't actually gone green at all. That's why I'm trying to differentiate between what they're doing on the roadside and what they are doing on the... I mean, my waste store doesn't have a roof at all.
Where's the original definition? It says recognition of substance bin store combat and emission of green roofs to bin store stroke kayak stores. So it's getting rid of not having any green roof then at the front, or the kayak store then, which is at the back.
I'm not sure whether they're including the kayak store down the slope, because
Well, it's
they've
got
excluded it from their site plan.
Yeah, but I have got it on the.
Yeah.
This is another plan that accompanied it, and it does have it on there. It is, the kayak store is there. Just about. I mean, you can see the label better than the actual store, but.
And they're not actually saying what they're going to put in place.
Well, it would be an ordinary, let's say, probably felt roof, I imagine.
Well, I don't know.
We don't know. But I quite like a green roof if it's going to be a solid roof. Any thoughts? Yeah, no. Francis?
I think we tend to advocate
Put
for
it
things
in
like
my-
green roofs. I think we try and advocate for things like green roofs, and I think the kayak store there would be a lot better from viewing it. So I think say no.
Yeah. So you're going to propose the...
I'll propose no, we would like a green roof, please.
So a proposal for objection. I'll second that. Is there anyone else up to do? Yeah, vote on that. Objection.
I can't see this one can we carefully differentiate between what's on the road and the kayak store down the grounds?
If it was just on the road, then it would be less fuss.
Yeah, I mean, the kayak store is about blending into the Gannel estuary landscape, isn't it? Yeah, no, we can make the stronger
I
point
think
that.
for the size of the roof, I think green roof on both of them, really.
But I can word a very.
Especially with the
I can
kayak
give
store,
more
then with
weight
the sort
to
of
the
like,
kayak
oh,
store
yeah.
probably than the other one. But
Yeah.
I'll say about both of them.
Disappointing, no. Right, how are we doing? 7:45. How are we doing? Do we need a pit stop at all? Okay, right, okay. Application 5 is being cancelled. Is it? No?
Carried forward.
It's been carried forward, okay, because it's still
At
down
the
on...
request of the agent and with the agreement of
Okay.
the planning officer.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, 6. We have a 6, though.
We have 6 and 7, right?
Oh, right, okay. Oh, I didn't realise these extra ones had peeped in.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Duncan. I should have done some of these. Right, okay. Application 6, PA 2505 006, 67 Tower Road. Erection of new 3-bedroom plus 2 plus loft story dwelling with front driveway, side access corridor and back courtyard and balcony.
We all know where Tower Road is, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, right. I'm just going to go straight to the street scene for that one, if that's okay. So, this comes up whenever I look at it, it comes up as the White Lands Guest House. So it's half this part of the property here. It is right opposite. So you've got the garage, you've got Hope Terrace. So we know where we are. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will see that there's a lovely space here, just waiting to be developed.
With a match.
This application for the erection of a new 3-bedroom, 2-storey plus loft dwelling in this front driveway space. Sensibly, the applicants went through the pre-application advice process. The officer came back and said the proposal is acceptable, likely to receive officer support, as long as they can demonstrate that neighbouring residential amenity isn't going to be unreasonably impacted. Key issues that came up in the pre-app were the effect on the character and appearance of the area, so will the building fit in, and the building's actual residential amenities itself, access and parking provision. We are told in the DNA statement that the application plans and the pre-application plans are very similar, and I've had a look and I can see that they are. There are a couple of sort of very minor changes to adapt the design following the pre-app. I think I think a sensible person would have actually got a couple of images as well for the pre-app. Let me just see if I have.
It's very narrow.
3 bedrooms.
There you go. They are the images that were submitted as part of the pre-app. Okay, so you got the a couple of front views.
Detached as well.
It is actually detached. Yeah, it's not, but there is a little. There appears to be a bit of a gap between two, and that's it at the rear. The key change that I could see was this balcony terrace at the rear, which has been changed from having this parapet wall. Well, the parapet wall has come down in height, and a glass screen has been put on top of it so that it makes a 1.7 metre obscured glass screen, so it makes 1.7 metres in total. Anyway.
But interestingly though, the boundary wall,
Oh, sorry.
the boundary wall at the back goes right across. So they've detached it, but that goes right across with no access out to the back.
Yeah, that's yeah, I mean, that might be just a quirk of the, yeah. We'll have a
stick out like a sore thumb, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll have a look because we've got more plans to look at. So basically, your blue line shows land property that's owned by the applicant but isn't part of the application, and then the red line is the development site. Okay. Let's have a quick look at the. We don't really need to see the existing block plan, to be honest, because it's just an empty space. But that's your existing block plan and the application site, and that's the proposal. So, okay. I think there's a little bit more detail on these site plans.
So this is going to be a self-build as well?
Yeah. Yeah, now one of the things that a self-build does, but I'm not being cynical here, but one of the things that a self-build does is it exempts you from the climate emergency stuff. I think a lot of those policies, the 10% bio
yes, go out the window, don't
diversity gain and all of that aren't applied, I think, if I remember rightly. But anyway, that's probably not our issue to worry about. No. Right, so the proposed site plan. So you've got a front driveway which would accommodate 2 vehicles. The roof plan, there's a front dormer here. There's a rear-facing balcony, and as I say, that's got a 1 metre high parapet wall and then 0.7 metre high obscure glass screening. In terms of elevations, it's one of those nice times when we don't have to tell the difference between existing and not, because there's no existing. So that's your front elevation. That's the side elevation. So you see it's got this not an evenly pitched, an asymmetric pitched roof. That's the word I was looking for. Mm-hmm. That's the rear with your parapet wall and obscure glazed screen. Yeah, and that can also be seen, as you see, it doesn't span the whole of the back, so it can't be seen on that side, but you have got views from that side. There is a street elevation would be quite useful, really, wouldn't it? And we have got one. So that's your existing, that's your proposed there. I don't know if you feel that you need to see the floor plans or not.
I want to see the 3 bedrooms.
You do what you would like to see them. One thing I'll point out, there are some shadow studies that have been done as well, but obviously they're going to favour the application. Nobody puts in a shadow study that suggests that everybody's going to be dwarfed in shadow because of your application, but I did look at the character study. This comes on nuclear character study. This does come under cell 10A, and where it says key design principles to adopt in the area, it does say ensure any infill development on the main streets retains the scale and rhythm of the street frontage.
This is actually one of the oldest streets in Newquay, and these houses were built. I mean, Hope Terrace was where the old Hope Yard is. But these big old-fashioned houses, they are, late 1800s.
I just wish that it was in the height of one or the other of the roofs, really, rather than setting a new height.
It's lower than both. It's
Lower than both.
isn't it?
And I just wish it was the same as that, really, or that. It's just,
Well,
yeah.
it's simply not fitting in. Can we see the 3 bedrooms? Right, of course, not convinced them.
Right, this is what that. So your ground floor. This is useful actually because you can see the amenity space is this. I think it looks pretty much like 3 metre square courtyard at the back. So you've got downstairs main habitable rooms. First floor, you've got a bedroom to the front and a bedroom to the rear, with a sort of connecting landing, shared shower room. And that's where the bedroom to the rear is the one, obviously, that benefits from the terrace. And then in the loft space, so you've got a dormer to make a little bit more headroom and space up there. You've got your 3rd bedroom. So 2 of them, front and rear, on the first floor, and then 1 in the loft.
Do we have anywhere that they're putting their rubbish and recycling outside? No? No.
That's the plan that's got the most detail. No, I mean there wouldn't appear to be much room there, so I'll take a note of that.
Do we have solar panels and stuff going in anywhere? I mean, it's striking east-west, so it should be on both sides, really.
So these are these dark areas are
Right, for PVs, right, okay.
Yeah, so that's your PVs.
Okay. And drainage, I mean, South West Water haven't picked up on a thing, but a drainage plan for this?
There wasn't anything provided.
Pool,
Do you have any more? Sorry. Do you have any more information on the kind of fabric of what they're building it in, and the finish? Like going to Joanna's point of how is it in keeping? Because I feel like they've considered, door to the right, tall windows on the left. There are definitely strong nods to the other properties on that street.
Yeah.
But I take your point in about the roof line. I think it would just be neater if it was one or the other. It's weird to me how it's totally detached and they just didn't get that extra little bit of space to connect it to their current property, but maybe that's structural or something. But
in the design statement, he says he's going to be living in it. It's going to be their permanent residence. So I imagine then selling the house next door
as
to
an end
pay
of
for
terrace.
it, so they have their own home.
But I think depending on the finish of the property will indicate whether it is in keeping or whether they're using some different type of materials, like the bright red issues that we have in some buildings and stuff.
Can we see the streets again?
Can I just propose that we extend for half an hour and seconder? All in favour? Yeah, thank you. I think, it's the line.
The image that you wanted, Joanna, or did you want the drawing?
Can you step out a bit? I mean, the other side of the road is hideous. But they are quite historic. Just trying to find.
You see that's what it's mimicking, isn't it? Is that opposite?
Well, that's one of the original ones, I think.
With that dormer. I just want it to get its lines right. Because at the moment it's got the
So that orange colour is
the
dreadful.
gable end is mimicking this height, but not the roof of it. But looking at these, it looks like the roofs are the same height.
Yeah, I think that's a quirk of the. I think that might be a quirk of the.
I don't think their
of the
drawing's
drawing.
inaccurate.
Yeah, because those buildings are level height, aren't they? And
Yeah.
they certainly aren't there. I was just reading a.
Do you see what I mean? That line there. Sorry.
Sorry. Let's go
It's,
back.
that's what accentuates the difference with the roof, is that line there is parallel to that, and that's fine, but we need then the roof to be the same height, I think, for it to be, but it is going to look weird.
What I was trying to do was, it says here, appearance and amenity space.
So, yeah, hung slate.
The articulation of the front elevation through synthetic materials. The ridge line and roof pitch of the proposed dwelling are proportionate to those of the adjoining properties, further contributing to its contextual appropriateness. I mean,
So is it just flat drawing?
that suggests that they're actually all uniform, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it could be slack
I
drawing.
mean, you can go back and ask.
SketchUp.
You certainly go back and ask that question
Yeah.
about is it going to be the same ridge height as its neighbours?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in terms of that, I mean, then it fits in. I mean, it is odd that it's not attached, considering it's surrounded by semi and terraced housing. Because I think the drawing inaccuracies making it accentuate that oddness about it.
So the houses on either side.
You've just turned it off, Joanna. It was on.
Right. The houses on either side are non-designated
They are.
historic assets, because I'm just looking at the CSAS map, because those are all the original. These are the original houses that. And what happened was that they developed down this side of. You can see I'm in the conservation area team. They developed one side, and then they only had a couple of houses on the other side. So when you look at the other side of the street, there are only 2 houses in that style.
Yeah.
And that is because they are also the original ones. So I've got concerns that this doesn't fit into a street because of its width. I just don't think.
Well, it's its width and
fits into
it's the detachment.
It's now a detached property.
So I mean, if he
so
owns that
obvious.
property, he could make it an attached house to a terrace house.
terrace.
Yeah.
This is a terrace, and then it's 2 terraces with a gap in between. And
It matches the building line at the front,
Yeah.
but I mean, you've got a line in the character study that refers to scale, rhythm, and street frontage.
So I would like to, well, I shouldn't be proposing objections and stuff, but I would like to propose objection to this on the basis I don't think it fits into the historic street scene.
We don't have a problem with the infill in itself, though, do we? And
No, because it's quite a scruffy bit of land there.
yeah,
They tidied it up.
Yeah.
but
It's
it's
a
one.
narrow building, it's going to look out of place.
But it won't look out of place if it was attached.
Well, yeah, but it's not attached.
Yes, to that, wouldn't it? If it was matching.
If it's attached to the host house.
Yeah.
But both of the houses on either side are non-designated.
So-
Whether that counts or not.
A seconder for Joanna. Miss Sandy, you're gonna second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see this coming back quite quickly.
Yeah.
Vote on objecting of that for not fitting in.
I've also got
Not
bin
quite.
stores.
Yeah.
We'll make the comment about the ridge height. We refer to the CESA study and the character study.
I think it's important in principle, but we just
Yes.
support that.
Yeah,
It's sort of
no,
like,
no, yeah,
because of it
definitely.
being sort of a conservation
Yeah.
heritage area,
But
if it was
isn't-
attached and it sort of like did match,
It's
then
not,
it
it's
would-
not proper infill, is it?
no, it's
That's it.
making
It
sort
would-
of like
it
a
would be infill if it was attached, but it's not.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's nearly there, but not quite. Brilliant. Okay. So 7. Application 7, PA 25/04561, 26 Farfield Place, Pentar Avenue. Reserve matters on landscaping.
Yeah, so some of us will have seen this one before. In your comments pack, the last comment on the last page is our comment from when we looked at this as an outline approval. So, Gillian, sometimes they can put in an application that's really about the principle of development, and then they follow it up with an application that's got the details. There's a couple of ways of doing this. This one is an outline application which was approved last May, and then we now have the reserved matters. Reserved matters are things like access, appearance, landscaping, what it's going to look like, how big it's going to be, etc. Okay? So that's so Fairfield Place is this interesting development in Farfield. Sorry,
I got it
Fairfield.
wrong for years.
Farfield. And what I've so it's quite a distinctive development. Number 26 is this unit, dwelling unit at the end, and I've chosen this view because it gives you a nice impression of the space. They've got, compared to their neighbours, they've got classic end of terrace. They've got a huge plot.
Oddly enough, I was walking.
This, we saw some very indicative plans, I mean, very vague last time, so this sheds a bit of light on what they want to do. So that's the block plan. I mean, look at the size of that plot compared to the neighbours. It's extraordinary. You can see why they're keen to do something with it, and they've certainly got the space. So the proposed site plan. Effectively, this blue area is the footprint of the extension. They're putting some fencing at the front to, I think, kind of sort of properly enclose this front garden, make it into sort of like a proper, distinct front garden, if you like. And that's the ground floor footprint, obviously. The elevations. So that's your existing property. So the bottom right is the front. You see the garage door spans the width of the building. That's the rear, and then you've got that southwest elevation which is running along Lawton Close. The proposed So you can see it's, again, if you look at the bottom right hand, sort of swap between the two. So that northwest elevation, the street facing one, so they've reduced the size of the garage door, which, as I say, currently spans the width of the building. The DNA statement tells us the garage door will be altered to allow for a fire escape route from the existing dwelling. And then they've got, next to the garage, they've got a new door which leads into the living room space. I wonder if it's, I do wonder, I'm not quite certain if it's a patio type door onto the front garden. And then there's a new window at first floor level, and a terrace is being created at second floor level to take advantage of the sea views, obviously. If we go back to that street view, I don't think that they're going to be overlooking anybody, and obviously if you're high enough up, you'll be able to see the sea from there, presumably. So, or glimpses of the sea. Was there anything else interesting with these? The side was interesting, actually. This door here, I think that that's going to effectively, that's going to be the main entrance. They have got a door here at the moment, and they're sort of more centrally locating this one. You'll see why I think that's going to be the main entrance when we look at the floor plans, because the floor plans were unusual, I thought. Yeah, you might not agree. So that's your ground floor at the moment. You've got the garage, and you've got the office floor. It doesn't show that. Annoyingly, it doesn't show that side door on the drawing, but the proposed. The first thing that.
Can I just ask a question that's going on in my head? Is this a separate new property, or is this an extension to the property there?
It is a extension in its description, but if you look at both of these, you'll see that this is now a house that is going to have 2 stairwells. And potentially, if we go back to that elevation, I don't. Are we being cynical? I don't know. You could have a front door for this property here, and a main entrance to the extended property there. It has got some characteristics of
changing into
becoming 2 separate houses. Right, the other thing that I'll point out now before we look at any more of this is that, weirdly, we end up with, because it does say about adding bedrooms, and it does add between 1 and 2 bedrooms, but weirdly, we end up with 3 living rooms and a snug. There's like as many living rooms.
There's a lot of living going on there.
There's as many living rooms as there is bedrooms. It's really unusual.
I don't have any problem with the outside. That's just a continuation.
Actually, leave it there a minute. I've got an issue with the balustrade at the side within the property opposite of the corner.
Look at that.
So there. So basically, it's going to be here with the balustrade then looking this way.
And they're going to be putting new flats on. They've finally painted that horrible building. But this is the one where they're putting an extension.
So many times, haven't we, that one?
Yeah, so it's. I think it's worth asking the question with the new proposals.
Just need to obscure.
There's no
I'm happy
overlooking.
with the balcony at the front, but it's looking like.
Just going to measure that distance quickly.
But the road, of course, is in between.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't built them yet, so you don't know what they can do.
No, but to the existing building, it's only about 10 metres,
10 metres.
and that is creating a new view in that direction.
Yes, yeah. I haven't got a problem going to the north. It's that one going to the west, the balustrade. So it needs. So it should be whatever is that height. It should be obscure on the right side.
Or just to say no, we confirm no overlooking.
It's the west view you want because it's a sunset.
It's the west. Well.
Yeah. I'm only going to get a picture of Traversing actually.
We're not going to get a full sunset because you're lower down from the headland and it's sunset's probably for an hour or you lose the sun.
You get a bit of light, I suppose.
You get the light of the sky is quite amazing. But yeah.
A lot of these units have, it's really odd, you have the garage and then the front door is at the back of the garage. So if you keep your garage closed, nobody can get at your front door. And other people leave the garage door open all the time, so you can get at their front door.
Yeah.
So this is a lot better than that. And I think this is one of the ones that you couldn't. Yeah, it hasn't got a door. The door's at the back of the garage.
There's one on the side there.
So they've got a side door.
Yeah. I think that just leads into the garage.
Yes,
And but that's sort of in the blocked off garden area.
Because it's creating new windows at the side there as well, so we do have issues of checking for overlooking that we're going to be putting upstairs. So where they've got a little window at the moment, they are going to be putting 2 new windows there.
Can we go back to the floor plans inside?
Sure thing. So this is the ground of the windows. So currently you've got a living, they're proposing a living room and a snug at ground floor level, and then bedrooms, a landing, bathroom at first floor, and then.
Is there a bathroom in the new bit?
Yes, that was upstairs.
Yeah, you wanted to look at the bathrooms, didn't you? And then you have another living room, bedrooms. Oh, there's one ensuite upstairs, so presumably these bedrooms would be using the bathrooms here.
Where's the kitchen for the whole property?
It doesn't actually separate. It must be open. Oh, kitchen dining. It's on the.
Yeah, so
it's
kitchen
on the
dining room. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And
But
there's
you
a
can't
kitchen dining room.
get from the one on the new one into that unless you go through that top door, through the living room, and then through.
It's going to be like an absolute maze, isn't it? Getting from a room on one side to a room on the other side.
Yeah, so to go in there you've got to go
Yeah, all the way around.
there, through all those doors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors to get into there, as opposed to just having a door through.
Yeah.
Especially as there's a window there at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any narrative on what it is on the application?
Do we put it not as an annex or sort of like, how's the annex question? Johnny, your microphone's always on. What's the annex clause thing?
Well, it wouldn't be an annex clause because what they're applying for is we have a nasty suspicious nature. But what they're applying for is a single building. So you can't put the annex clause on. We can say we wouldn't welcome this being split into two properties.
Yes.
And that doesn't make any difference, but it's sort of worth recording. I just think I'm not sure it is being split into two properties. And maybe, yes, so you've got one ensuite at the top, in the white bit, and then a new bathroom. Is that what they've got at the moment? Is that tiny ensuite? I wonder if they want to expand it.
It's just odd.
So at the moment they've got 3 bedrooms, and there's a sort of shared ensuite bathroom.
So it goes from 3 to sort of 4/5, depending on whether the office bedroom is an office or a bedroom.
Going up into that area where your red pen is from the new property. So I mean,
It doesn't.
so there's no stairs going up to the second floor from the ground floor. of the new
Yeah,
property.
no, you.
No, there isn't.
Oh my
I
word!
don't
So
think at the moment it looks like it could probably be split, but I don't think it looks like it's intended to split at the moment.
I have no idea.
So
Why have they put like this windows at the door?
But they do have 2 flights of stairs. You're right.
Yeah.
Looks like they might make the extension the first 2 floors like kind of like a step thing, and then
Yeah.
keeping the top floor.
But
Ah,
then-
so split it up and down. You
I
think?
think so.
maybe
So they get the balcony as part of the main property.
it's quite. I've never seen a house with 2 stairwells in it like that. It's really
Well, it's a huge waste of
unusual.
space, isn't it?
Like I say, if you're going from one room to another, it's going to be an absolute. You're going to wear your slippers out.
But the second stairwell. Hang on. There's a ground floor stairwell, and then 2 stairways on the ground floor. But when you get to the other one, the second floor,
That can only be
doesn't that it only has
No.
1 flight of steps?
That's accessed then from the original
Yeah.
building, as Molly said, in terms of the original
So
building.
you've
So
got-
as Molly said, so it's sort of like you've got a self-contained bit almost for the 2 stories below,
Yeah.
and then that, as Molly said, is like is sort of like a penthouse over the top of it.
Yeah.
So a split.
So you've got one property. If it was split.
Yeah. Would be under it.
One floor, and go like that, and then the other
Yeah.
property would just be 1 floor.
Yeah.
2 and 3, and over the top.
But
Yeah.
effectively, I think all we need to say is, or do we think it's too small to have 2 separate properties?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
so
and
we
it
just-
hasn't given any of the design facilities for that. So it's sort of like I'm not.
I think we can say we wouldn't welcome this being 2 separate properties
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally notice that.
because we're suspicious.
But in other terms,
But other than that, anything
access, scale, layout, landscaping.
I'm a bit. I'm a bit confused as to what's happening at the back because the back seems to be split level.
That isn't a boundary treatment. That's a patio apparently.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that looks like they're fenced. That the whole thing's going to be enclosed in fencing, which really would scream splitting it into 2. But that's apparently some patio, which I think connects up with the existing patio.
I don't think the one on the front is fenced in either, because that's where he's got his boat.
Yeah, but then they're going to fence that. They're going to fence that.
No, sorry, I'm still confused as to what's happening in the backyard as to. Because it looks like it's split levels. So okay, so this is the side, this is the front, this is the back. So, but this has got 2 levels, and this has got 3. It's on a slope. So how does it work though with the floor plan inside when we're saying this goes into that? Where's the ground?
Well, if you look, you're having to go up some steps here, and then you're having to go further up some more steps to bring yourself up to what from the front will be first floor level. So effectively, this window here is almost like a fan light.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Because half the property, because the rear of the property is effectively the ground floor is effectively subterranean, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, right.
Almost.
So apart from there being no PV and all that gubbins, no water statement either. In terms of I'm sort of like, no objection, but want to express concerns that it's not 2 separate properties.
And the overlooking as well.
And the overlooking on the west side. Has anyone got anything? So seconder for no objection then, Sandy? Yeah. Okay, and that, brilliant.
That is your planning application.
Oh, I've gone and shut off the wrong. You know when you look at it and you're going, I'm about to press the wrong button, and I press it anyway. Right, okay. Right, terms of reference, we've got 5 minutes. Terms of reference and risk assessment updates.
You and I are going to meet up and have a look at the work that I've done on perhaps kind of triaging applications before they come here, because
and
there
then
may be some
we'll
that
bring
don't really need to come to the meeting.
Yeah, and then we can bring that back. Right, okay, brilliant. Reports and associated recommendations from working parties. Well, we haven't had any meeting yet. Yeah, we're worried about that.
Yeah. You've got some people on the groups now. I think we looked at those in the last meeting, didn't we?
Financial statement, you've been spending all the family silver?
Purchases have been made, no payments to authorise.
Other correspondence?
No other correspondence that we need to worry about.
Items of information discussion only. We had, was there anything, the only thing of note from planning permissions that have gone through was the withdrawal of, sorry, I haven't got it in front of me. One Pentar, wasn't it, from the Apart Hotel?
Yeah. But they wanted to put 230, which is not.
Yeah.
It sounds like calling the planning officer not approved. I thought there was a very weird bit of correspondence, whereas we said we're not happy with what's happening with section 106 when we were doing the down. And the planning officer came back and said, we're raising your concerns with the agent.
Blimey.
And I thought, well, wouldn't you have to? Why is it?
Yes,
is it just us?
Yeah. Ho hum.
I didn't see that, I don't think.
You sent it to me.
Oh, right.
Okay. That was copied to me.
And then date of next meeting is Wednesday the 20th of August at 6 o'clock. Love to see you there. Farewell. Thank you.
Brilliant. 2 minutes before ending.
I